Ladies and gentlemen. So, we're back again to the list of upcoming new 6-star operators. And in this version we will talk about all upcoming 6-star after Yato alter. I will first talk about the 6-star OP that should come next to global based on the CN server schedule. High probability there's going to be a change in the schedule for global. And we probably going to get another Dorothy event experience. But putting that aside, let's see the next 6-star OP that should come to global. And it should be Ines, released alongside episode 12 update. So, Ines is a 6-star agent Vanguard and one of the most anticipated character. Agent is one of the best Vanguard archetype known for their versatility. They can act as a fast redeploy, got an efficient way to gain DP, cheap to deploy, and a great choice to start a stage run. And Ines combines all the good things the other two agent we already have. And provide other utilities to make her even more worthy to pull. With her talent 1, utilizing the newest steel effect she can make her attack stronger. And got the ability to bind enemy for a moderate time. Her talent 2 reveals invisible targets and slows their movement. This effect won't be removed if she's retreated. So this makes her still provide usefulness while waiting for redeployment. Or when you don't need her anymore. For skills, you can use skill 1 which deals arts damage in the next attack. And good for AFK or when the enemies are not troublesome. Skill 2 is generally her primary skill. Got wider range, attack boost, and an attack speed boost to increase her DPS and DP printing. On top of that, she becomes invisible. With its initial SP it also got a heli drop potential. And can be used almost or immediately upon deployment with bagpipe. But if you're looking to maximize her damage especially against crowd, skill 3 might be for you. Although the downside is this skill doesn't allow her to become a stationary unit. Overall Ines is a great Vanguard that makes starting a stage easier. And still has value to be used until the stage ends. Definitely recommend this potato head to be on your team. Next up, the next 6-star operators should appear in Lone Trail event. It's a 4th anniversary event for CN so expect lots of stuff added. And like all anniversaries we will get a limited banner featuring 2 new 6-star. Muelsyse and Saileach. With Mu being a limited operator. We actually got Silence Alter as a free 6-star in this event. She's an amazing abjurer, but since she's free, we won't be focusing on her. But before talking about the 2, I'd like to remind you about the other limited you can get in this limited banner. Alright, first we will talk about our water elf Muelsyse. Another one of the most anticipated character. Muelsyse is the second 6-star tactician Vanguard. And got a very unique summon unit. With her talent 1 she can deploy this water clone. And it can copy some of the selected operator's attributes. And act differently depending on whether it copies a melee or ranged OP. True to her job as a Vanguard, her talent 2 will make Rhine Lap operators DP cost cheaper. But more importantly she's a Rhine operator herself. So she can get that sweet -4 DP cost for her alone. For skills, mostly you'll use skill 2 or 3. But with skill 1 she can gradually obtain DP, get increased attack and attack speed. Skill 2 gives DP immediately, increases Mu and the clone's attack. And gives different effects to the clone depending on what type of unit it copies. Melee will get HP regeneration and sanctuary effect. And it's the only way she can heal her melee clone. While ranged will deal 2 hits. Inflicting more damage and making it easier to spawn another clone. Lastly, skill 3 also gains DP and attack boost like skill 2. But the effects of the clone's leaning for crowd control. If melee it will pull enemies, and stun block targets until the skill ends. If it's ranged, it will spawn or refresh all clones, and attacks bind the target. All in all an amazing and unique 6-star Vanguard. She can easily mess with enemies by using her clones. And having a clones that can be adapted for a different situation is very useful. Also, an efficient unit to start your stage and still has usefulness later on. Then for the 6-star alongside her, from Mumu to Mummy Snake. So, like either Donna Irene or Knippelet, she is all about inflicting levitate effect. And deal critical damage and silence the aerial enemies with talent 1. For talent 2 she got weightless effect. This should help make some enemies float longer. And shifting some heavy enemies easier. But the requirement is quite stingy, since it only affects someone above 80% HP. For skills, you have some variety to choose from, and all of them inflict levitate. But skill 1 and 2 levitate are quite unreliable to be used if multiple enemies are present in her range. Meanwhile, skill 3 is without a doubt her main skill. It expands her range, and changes her attack to send a whirlwind. That can hit pretty hard installing enemy with levitate. But make sure no other enemy get between her and the main target, as you can waste her attacks. Saileach is a pretty good damager/stall unit. That could be very fun to use with an attack speed buff. But unless you really find her levitate useful, Saileach is not exactly someone I highly recommend. Especially if you already have other strong casters. Okay, moving from Lone Trail, the next new 6-star appears in Hortus de Escapismo event. And it's Executor Alter. He's now a Reaper Guard, with the power of Cube God and 12 gauge at his side. And we all know, Reaper is a good guard to use to handle crowd. With his talent 1, he got some chance to land an additional hit, helping to not only deal more blows to the enemies, but also heal him some more. While talent 2 is, well, he needs more bullets. And he'll get that from other latter and OOPs deployed alongside him. Moving to skills, all of his skills are offensive recovery and use ammunition. Skill 1 for AFK, and skill 2 for more defensive playstyle. But generally you will use his skill 3. It slightly increases his interval. But he got a lot of good stuff from increased attack, triple his HP recovery amount, and critical damage to all marked targets once the skill ends. Overall, Executor Alter is the best Reaper the game has yet to offer. That can deal tons of physical damage and handle enemy waves. Worth noting that he's quite underperformed without his module that grants him some defense ignore. And there's still his typical archetype drawback, ranging from his inability to be healed normally. Very vulnerable against elemental damage, especially since there's only one person who can heal him from elemental suffering. Leaving Executor, the next 6-star should appear in a mini event that I don't dare to say its name. It should be right before IS4 release. She is Typhon, who is our second 6-star Besieger sniper. Like all Besieger, she's a great physical dealer and she takes that 2 steps further. With her talent 1 she can ignore up to 50% of enemy defense. 10% lower than Rosa, but Typhon apply this to enemy with all kinds of weight. And the defense ignore is not difficult to maximize. Then talent 2 makes it when she uses her skills. She will multiply her damage and slow the target, but only applies for the first time she attack each enemy, much like Ines. For skills, skill 1 is your generic swift skill which is skippable, while skill 2 is a skill with a mechanism similar to Thorn's S3, where its second activation will become an infinite duration. It also increases her attack and makes her attack to targets or a single target twice, and a chance to briefly stun them. Without a doubt it's an amazing physical damage skill. This can be your best skill to continuously dispatch enemies in the stage. But if the targets are too tough or you're facing bosses, you'll need her skill 3. Her skill 3 is an ammo type skill. It will lock on a target even if they get out of her range, and then fires multiple arrows at the enemies inside the target and stun them briefly. The damage is simply put, crazy. Without a doubt another efficient boss killing skill. Overall I highly recommend Typhon if you're looking for physical damager and boss killer. Her far-sighted range might be awkward in some stages, but it shouldn't be a big deal. Moving on, after Typhon we got a special summer event. It features another limited banner, with surprisingly 2 6-star Alter, Eyjafjalla, and Swire Alter, with Eyjafjalla being the limited. And by the way, this event should be Arknights Global Innov event. And like most limited banner, some previous limited will appear. Okay, starting with Eyjafjalla. Tired of incinerating enemies and dominating the caster class, she decided that peace is finally an option and became the first 6-star wandering medic. Not only does she excel in countering elemental damage, but also provides strong normal healing. Eyja got a first talent that let some normal and elemental healing linger on a target after she healed them. It's not exactly a big number, but it's nice to have. While talent 2 gives everyone in range a max HP boost and take less elemental damage, which is amazing. For skills, skill 1 gives her attack boost and it's an infinite skill, with also an ability to heal another target. And now all units in range got elemental recovery every second. This also means she has become the first ever wandering medic that can recover elemental damage from enmity units, like Executor Alter for example. Meanwhile, skill 2 gives instant heal. No increase in healing amount, but it gives an elemental barrier that absorbs a huge amount of incoming elemental damage. The best thing about this skill is that it doesn't make her enter skill lockout and immediately charge her skill to use it again almost immediately once the barrier is gone. And her ultimate skill. Skill 3 has global range, healing 5 times prioritizing different people, and increase her second talent 5 times. Another best healer to be introduced in the game, providing both strong normal and elemental healing, especially with that global range. She's definitely going to be useful for a lot of people. Now for the 6-star beside her, we got Swire Alter. Missy is the second 6-star merchant with versatile abilities, and all of her skills need the coin mechanisms from her talent 1, which is pretty much ammunition that also increases her attack. While talent 2 restored a big portion of her HP when she got knocked out, it more or less makes her immortal, but the DP cost will surely hurt your DP deposit, and eventually makes it impossible to restore her HP. For skills, you got skill 1 which heals herself or allies. Skill 2 let her plant some champagne bombs to cover a pretty wide range, which slows and deals good damage to the enemies, especially if the additional hit requirement is met. Lastly, her skill 3, it's a pretty awesome shift skill that can push even level 3 weight enemy pretty far away, and is a pretty unique cornerstone option. All things considered, Missy is a good versatile unit, but like all merchant, her problem comes from her eternal DP consumption. Luckily her module will ease that up, so unlock it if you're going to use her a lot. After this limited banner, the next event should be Black Steel event, featuring yet another altar, Jessica the Liberated. Following her senior footsteps, she is a Sentinel defender. Sentinel is known as an offensive-oriented defender, with some support or crowd control ability on the side, but didn't disregarding survivability just like that. Jessica has something to make her become the toolnut of Arknights, and that is the mobile shield from her talent 1. That will block enemy and grant her and the ally behind some extra defense. It also comes with the ability for Jessica to turn toward the shield. This means she is officially the first OP to be able to change direction, albeit temporarily. While talent 2 gives SP recovery almost similar to Lyn. For skills, skill 1 is geared more toward defensive. That boosts her and the shield stats, and extends the shield duration. Skill 2 will make her go full auto, improving her DPS nicely, and she has a high chance to dodge attacks. Skill 3 is her best skill if you favorited damage, but it also comes with extra defense for her and the shield. Moreover, when her shield is deployed, she will fire a grenade launcher, dealing critical damage and stuns those who got hit. Our Cat is a defender with a good mix of offensive and defensive capability. If you need this kind of defender, and maybe you find her unique shield useful, sounds like you'll need to save for her. Okay, last one on the list is Hoederer, the final member of WMUC Companion, released alongside episode 13. So, this redhead Rhino Brown is our first 6-star crusher. We have doubts about him considering how terrible the other unit in his archetype. But lo and behold, he's pretty good and worthy of the 6-star title. Hoederer got a permanent attack multiplier from his talent 1, which will increase if he's attacking a stunned or bound target. And talent 2 gives him sanctuary. Not exactly much, but it will prevent him from taking the whole damage, considering he got no defense or resistance. 4 skills. Skill 1 makes him land critical hit on the next attack and also heal him. While it might sound good as it can heal a quarter of his own HP, but I'd say you focus on his other skills and rely on other ops for healing. Skill 2 can switch him into a state where he gets more block. This also means more enemies to attack and stun the target for 1 second. It's a very good skill for lane holding and interrupting enemies' attack. Provided the enemy is slow enough, he can even stun lock the hell out of them. Last skill is his ultimate damage skill. It deals massive physical damage, true damage DOT for more than a minute. Increases HP, and he restores some health when attacking. He also got some chance to deal a pretty long stun, and then deal even more damage by utilizing his talent 1. The downside is that he loses 100 HP every second. But it's nothing to worry about since he restores his HP and there's other healer. All in all, Hoederer manages to prove that not all crusher will end up getting crushed, but be the one to actually crush enemy with his massive attack and stun, and becomes a good guard option to have. Well, that's all the upcoming 6-star after Kirin Yato. So, who would you pull, ladies and gentlemen? That should be all. Adios.